Got that repo showing up on your credit? Hey, listen. You ain't got to explain to me why that repo is on your credit, man. That ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm only here for one thing. I'm gonna teach you exactly how to go about removing that. And step by step, one of the best techniques that I've used and had the most success with to be able to get any of those repos removed from your credit report. So if you or someone you know has a repo on their credit report, then you want to make sure that you do not miss this video. What's up, y'all? My name is Tomy Boboy, your credit and personal finance coach. If this is your first time on my channel, I just want to say welcome. Now, typically on my channel, I'll be talking about things related to credit and personal finance. So if you're interested in improving your credit and achieving financial freedom, then make sure that you hit the subscribe button down below so you don't miss any of my future videos. Now let's go ahead and jump into how to go about actually taking care of repos. Now, this is kind of the beef that I have with the auto industry, right? And again, guys, I know it's not all them, right? There's enough places to lay the blame, but you know, when you go to get a car in an auto dealership or anything like that, if you ever buy a new car, like you buy a car brand new, pretty much most of us know that right when you drive it off the lot, it has now lost value. So as soon as you pay for it and you drive it off the lot, it's now not worth as much as what you paid for it, right? And that kind of is what created this dilemma here, right? It's a situation where, hey, now you have a car that if you wanted to sell, you wouldn't even be able to sell it for as much as what you got the loan on it for. So you're in a situation where now you have this car, you really can't get rid of it. You can't really do anything with it unless you're willing to put even more money into this car already. So typically what ends up happening is people just end up taking the car that they have and just keeping it, right? They don't try to sell it to anybody. They just try to keep making payments on it to eventually get to a point where they end up paying off the car completely. Now, where the issue comes in is if you bought a car and you didn't have good credit at the time, instead of you paying what's a typical interest rate for a car, which is pretty much around or less than 3%, you could even be charged anything crazy like 10%, 15%. I've even heard of some people getting charged close to the 20%, right? And above. So if you're in a situation like that, then quite honestly, you're pretty much screwed from the jump, right? It's a situation where you won't be able to pay off that car fast enough to be able to get back from being underwater on that car. So you're just in a situation where you really just have to keep making the payments and hope that you're never in a situation where you can't. But typically what ends up happening is people end up giving the car back to the lender. So in that case, it would be, you know, let's say I got a car and it was through Toyota Financial Services or something, I would pretty much just voluntarily give the car back to them, which is called a voluntary repo. And guys, to be quite honest with you, it's the same exact thing as a regular repo. So whether they come and take the car from you or you give them the keys and you drop the car off, it doesn't matter how nice you are with them. They're going to look at it the same. It's a repo, one way or the other, right? So that's usually the most likely scenario for people who have a really high interest rate and also have a car that they bought pretty much brand new. You're in a situation where you end up not being able to pay for it and you end up having to ends up getting repossessed. And so that's what probably brought most of you guys here to this video. So now let's deep dive into how you can actually go get a repo removed. This is one of the best techniques that I've used for my clients to be able to help them get these repos removed from their credit reports. So if you guys remember, whenever you first got your car, more than likely when you got that car, you had to not only show that you had insurance, you know, be able to get a loan for that car, but they probably had you get something called gap insurance. Basically what gap insurance is with regular insurance, the insurance companies will only cover the value of the car. Now, since your car is as soon as you drive it off to the lot, it's pretty much losing value. You now need to have a supplemental or secondary insurance called gap insurance that is going to cover that gap, right? It's going to cover the leftover amount that the actual insurance company wouldn't cover if you were to get into a wreck and total your car, things like that. So that gap insurance pretty much works the same way, right? It's almost like you're depositing money into a bank account, and if you were to get into an accident, they'll help cover the car so you're not left paying for a loan on a car that's been totaled. Now, where the problem comes in, which you can actually take advantage of, is that typically they do not actually report to the debt collectors. Once they repo your car, they sell it off at the auction, and whatever that leftover amount is, they usually sell off to a debt collector, right? They usually don't report to the debt collector a correct balance because they forget to minus out the amount from your gap insurance. As soon as your car gets repossessed, there should be a refund from the gap insurance prorated for the remaining amount of time, and that check is usually sent directly to your lender, right? So the lender gets the check, they've been paid, right? But they don't minus that out of the amount that you owe for the car, right? That's where the issue comes in. So what do you do to be able to take advantage of this? Now, so the first thing you want to do is you want to figure out who your gap insurance provider was. Okay, so you want to look for all the documentation that you have. Try to assemble all the documentation from your auto loan that you can get, and you want to try to track down who your gap insurance, the gap insurance company was, and you want to reach out to them and tell them that you want a refund for the portion of the gap insurance that you should have gotten since your car got repossessed. Now, in this scenario, they're going to give you two answers, right? Answer number one is they're going to say, hey, we've already sent the money to the auto lender. As soon as we found out pretty much that your car was repoed, they let us know, and we stopped collecting and sent them a refund check. And if they tell you that, you immediately want to ask them for proof. And option number two, they might say, oh, okay, you know, we haven't sent that check out. Where should we send it out? Or, if they say they haven't sent it out, you want to tell them, hey, I want you to send that money directly to the auto lender, right? You want to send it immediately to the auto lender. Do not try to finesse them into giving you the check or anything like that. Have them send it to the auto lender, okay? And tell them you want proof that this was done. Now, once you receive that proof and you have evidence now that the gap insurance check has been sent to the actual auto lender, more than likely, once the auto lender sold off the debt to the debt collector, they don't care about it anymore, right? The auto lenders made their money because they took that debt, that amount that you had left over, instead of trying to collect it from you, they just shot it off over to the debt collector and let them take care of it, right? So they're probably not, once they receive that check, or if they've already received the check, more than likely they didn't update the balance amount. So what you want to do now is you want to go to the debt collector and you want to send them a debt validation letter, okay? And if you don't know what that is, or you don't have any debt validation letters, I actually shot a video breaking down exactly how you go about doing this debt validation. Broke down the letter, and I actually even give you a copy of the letter that I've used, right? So I'll include that in the description below, so go ahead and check that video out. It'll help you be able to how to structure the actual letter, and you'll have a copy of my letter as well. So be sure, it'll be down in the description. But what you want to do is you want to send that letter to the debt collector so they actually validate the debt. And what that means is they have to show you proof that they have the right to collect on the debt. And one of the ways they're going to show you proof is they're going to give you pretty much an itemized breakdown of how much you owe, why you owe it, so on and so forth, right? And you're going to see in the information they send you, it's not going to include the gap insurance, right? So the amount's already going to be off from the get-go, okay? And because the amounts are incorrect, that's where you win. Because of the Fair Credit Reporting Act and the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, these are all the laws that govern each of these organizations. You can pretty much leverage these to be able to get this debt removed from your actual credit report. So now at this point, what you have is you've gotten proof from the gap insurance company that they've sent the check. You've now gotten information from the debt collector, which now shows you that they never included the information about the gap insurance, and so the actual amount owed is wrong. So next, what you want to do is you want to reach out to the credit bureaus, and what you're going to do is you're going to send a letter to the credit bureaus just asking them to verify the debt. You're not asking them to validate. You're not saying, hey, this isn't mine, I don't owe it. You're not saying, hey, you don't say anything crazy, okay? All you're really telling them is, hey, listen, I see that there's this debt on my credit report. Would you please be able to verify that it's showing up 100% accurate? Because by law, the FCRA, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, but because of that act, they have to make sure that everything that's on your credit report is 100% accurate and verified, right? So once you get a letter from them, you're gonna send them that letter saying, hey, can you verify? Most of the times the credit bureaus don't check anything, right? They're just gonna go over to the debt collector, say,
hey, is everything good? Everything good on your end?
And the debt collector is gonna turn back to them and say,
yeah, man, everything's good. This is everything's been verified and you're good.
And they're going to send the information back to the credit bureaus. So credit bureaus aren't doing any due diligence. They're just going to take the debt collector at his word. As soon as they do that and they send you a letter saying, hey, it's been verified and it's showing up 100% accurate, that's whenever you can flip around and you can send them all the information you have, right? You send them the debt collector's information, right? You send them the information about the gap insurance check. You showing them a breakdown of how the amount showing is incorrect. So it's not actually the amount that you owe, right? And because you're able to do that, the credit bureaus have to actually delete that account, delete that repo from your credit report, because they've already confirmed that it's 100% accurate. And by you showing them proof that it isn't, they now have to delete it. Or if they don't delete it, then you can get an attorney and be able to sue them for damages. So they're going to choose option A and just delete the account. So guys, that's pretty much the flow of it, right? If you just follow that, you should be able to remove pretty much that alone can remove 80% of the repos out there, right? Just by you following that simple process. One thing I will tell you, a key, right? This is a key. You want to make sure that whenever you're sending out these letters, you're sending them out certified mail with return receipt. And what that means is it's something that you can get done at the post office, where whenever you send out that letter, the post office is once they deliver that letter to the debt collectors, to the whoever you're sending the letter out to, they're going to make sure that the letter is signed for, and they're going to send you that information. So you're going to be able to have proof that this letter was delivered on this date at this time and signed by this person. And that's even more proof that you're going to be able to send in with all the other proof that you have to the credit bureaus. Now guys, if it's a situation where the credit bureaus decide not to take action, you can either report it to the government agencies like the CFPB, the FTC, things like that, or you can just talk with a actual consumer rights attorney, and you might be able to sue for damages and get paid based off of what's going on depending on your case, right? So that's definitely something you want to be able to take to the next level if it's a situation where you're not getting the results like I was breaking it down for you. And so guys, yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Guys, remember, if you enjoyed this information and you found value in this information, please hit the thumbs up button, the like button down below. That way this information gets shared with more people. Now, the more people, the more times that YouTube sees you are hitting the like button, you're subscribing, you're commenting down below, they know to share this video to more people, and we can be able to get this information out to as many people as possible and help more people get out of whatever type of credit situation that they're in. So again, thank you guys for watching. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my future videos. And that's going to be pretty much it. Also, I'll include down low again links to any videos that I mentioned throughout this video. I'll include the links down below. Also, if you have any other types of negative accounts, like for example, debt collectors, medical collections, inquiries, things like that, I'll include links below to videos I've shot about how to get those removed as well. So be sure that you check the description so you can get access to those videos as well. And so guys, it's going to be pretty much it for this video. I'll see you at the next one.